when are we? Are things going to get to 1 million? How long do
So that is a 2030.
Like the other calls that you talked about. Mm-hmm.
Right. You know, it's somewhere between 2026 and 2030 is where we think that $1 million from $40,000. I don't think people believed me when I said it on stage last week at Bitcoin 2022, but I meant it, and many people think, okay, so you're assuming that institutional investors become huge holders of Bitcoin. No, we're not. We're assuming, though, that they will move in gradually, and by the time we hit $1 million plus, they will have a 2.5%.
Hello and welcome back to Cryptollennium. Today's been a rough one. Bitcoin found a new low for the cycle, and the bloodbath doesn't seem to be over quite yet. Let's take a look at what happened in relation to this. So without further ado, please like and subscribe, and let's dig in. As you can see, we've broken to new lows of this cycle. It's been a scary day. So you might be asking yourself, why? What happened? Let's take a look. Well, it's a Bitcoin miner bloodbath. Most aggressive miner selling in almost 7 years now. It's up 400% in just 3 weeks. If the price doesn't go up soon, we are going to see a lot of Bitcoin miners going out of business. This is huge because Bitcoin mining, this is the foundation of Bitcoin. As you all know, Bitcoin is propped up on the backs of the miners and the institutions that adopt Bitcoin. And as you can see right here, this is scary to see, but they need profit. They need to operate. They have no choice, and they foresee a leg down. So what's the smartest thing to do? Cut some losses and take some profit, because, you know, they should be in profit still. You know, it's last time they sold at this rate was down here, and this is, you know, sub 2000 levels. Pretty scary stuff, though, to see that this rate going up this drastically. In other news, crypto brokerage Genesis is said to warn of bankruptcy without funding. So Genesis executives spent the weekend seeking to line up financing. Genesis lending unit suspended withdrawals after the FTX collapse. You might remember we talked about this in our previous videos, went into a lot of depth about it, so go check that out. Binance turns down request to invest in Genesis. Towards the end of last week, Genesis Global Capital, lending business Genesis Trading, suspended redemptions. Its parent company, Digital Currency Group, the also owners of Grayscale, clarified the decision was made in response to the extreme market dislocation and industry loss of confidence caused by the implosion of FTX right after the company sought $1 billion in emergency funding. Earlier today, the crypto lender warned that it would go bankrupt without funding support, according to a recent report from the Wall Street Journal. Genesis asked Binance for an investment. Per the media outlets' unknown sources, the company also reached out to private equity giant Apollo Global Management for support, but the former, Binance, ended up turning down the request. Elaborating on why, the report noted, Binance decided not to invest, fearful that some of Genesis' business could create a conflict of interest down the line, according to one of the people familiar to the matter. So this is a pretty big deal, because the last time Binance said no to somebody, FTX crashed, and it was FTX, but that's not their fault. So why do they expect this? Well, because Binance CZ recently announced that they were going to be doing the crypto recovery fund. And so it's only right that they would go and see if that recovery fund is available yet. I guess it's not. So this is what they said. We have no plans to file bankruptcy imminently. Our goal is to resolve the current situation consensually without the need for any bankruptcy filing. Genesis continues to have constructive conversations with creditors. Furthermore, it should be noted that the lenders lent $2.4 billion to Three Arrows Capital, who just recently crashed over the summer. Notably, Genesis' parent company, DCG, has a $1.2 billion claim against that hedge fund. So as we're watching this unfold, you can see the contagion is connected to everybody. This contagion is really rooted in the fundamentals of things. It started with Luna, but everybody that's involved now is part of the same disease has affected all of them. They've all touched the same dirty contagion. Also, because of this, we're going to go into a little bit of Genesis previously loaned 2.36 to Three Arrows Capital. This is a big deal. Following immense exposure from the downfall of FTX, Genesis Global Trading decided to halt withdrawals. And amidst this, it should be noted that Genesis had been impacted by 3AC. Back in July, it was brought to light that Genesis had lent about $2.36 billion. That is not a small amount of money, just so you know. I'm sure you knew that, though. In addition to this, Genesis noted how 3AC had breached 2 lending agreements. This was signed back in January 2019 and 2020. They owe them a lot. They breached agreements, but what can they do? They've already lost everything. So will Genesis survive the crypto winter? Well, just last week, they assured that it had hired the best advisors in the industry to look into several options. However, the firm was seeking funds from platforms like Binance, Apollo, and while Binance is not going to, the platform could be headed to bankruptcy. If this happens, Bitcoin will certainly feel the heat. The asset at this time is about actually 15,700 at this point. So, in addition to this, Genesis Trading reveals 175 million of funds are locked in FTX, so even better. So all of it, they have their arm in every contagion pot. Genesis Trading is the latest firm to declare exposure to FTX and may look to its parent company for help as it did after the 3AC bankruptcy. It can't. This was posted 10 days ago, but it really can't. So hopefully we're okay. You might look at this and see that it's a fire sale. You know, I should buy. Although this does look good, there's still good reason to believe there is more downside, and here's why. Fear and greed. Currently, we're at 22 out of 100, and Bitcoin just broke its all-time low of the cycle. If this was really the low of the cycle, wouldn't you assume that fear would be down here with maybe like the low 10, 11, maybe 8, 9? We're in the 20s right now. Yeah, we saw that level back here, but we're still breaking down, and there is still more of this Band-Aid to rip off. So I would not cash everything into Bitcoin right now. Personally, this is not financial advice. So I'm looking more at a qualitative aspect of things in this one, and it just doesn't seem like, you know, just qualitatively, it might not be there quite yet. And so then for those of you who are more technical, we could look at the MVRV Z-score. And as you can just see here with the Z-score, this looks great and all, and this looks like we're low and it's a good time to buy, just like down here. But if you go here and if we zoom into the last 3 cycles of this Z-score, you can see that we've broken past the green boundary 2 times, so 2 out of 2 times in the last 2 cycles. Actually, even better, I think it goes all cycles. We have not done that quite yet. And although one might say, yeah, you know, depreciate or logarithmic regression and diminishing returns or losses, you could say that. But in this case, it's a different angle. So that's also factored into this. And so with that said, relatively, we still have more to go. In other news, Coinbase Custody confirms they hold 635,000 Bitcoin on behalf of Grayscale. This is awesome because a few days ago, breaking, Grayscale won't share proof of reserves, citing security concerns. So there was a lot of FUD surrounding this. Everyone was worried that Grayscale was insolvent and did not really have the Bitcoin that it claimed to have. But luckily, Coinbase confirms this in an official press release. Following this, just in, Cathie Wood's ARK Invest bought 1.3 million shares of Coinbase worth $56 million this month, according to Bloomberg. This is a good investment. I remember when people I know actually bought Coinbase at about $300 to $400 a share. So currently they're, I believe, below $100 a share. And Cathie knows what she's doing. She's a smart lady. She's making big moves, and she's looking to the future. So even though things may look treacherous, there is a light at the end of the tunnel right now. We just have to be there for it. So hang in there. This is Cryptollennium. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you tomorrow.